The series always had really cool technology. Like, as for a series that's almost exclusively based on the same exact trading card game, like they have so many cool different ways of playing it. Like, there's one series where they pretty much just play it like on motorcycles, and like there's all
That's
kinds
my
of
favorite. I can love that one the best.
it's
No, because
hilarious.
it's so ridiculous.
Yeah,
But they almost abandoned that like halfway after the first season arc of like stopping the main bad guy. They abandon that and they just play regular. They'll have a few of those things, but like they're like, oh hey, that was a cool concept, but we're the synchro thing is just play normal. We can't keep animating this.
right. It's almost like Power Rangers, where they just need to add more tech. Yeah, they add more and more technology every season. Like, there's a new gimmick this time. Look at this. Buy this toy. Buy this toy. It's awesome. So, some part of Kaiba Land that looked really interesting to me was this like kind of secret area that wasn't available to the public called Death T. There are like 5 different levels to this. There's like Death T1, Death T2, all the way up to 5, and they're like different chambers that are created as challenges for Yugi, so that like Kaiba can like prove that he's better. So there's 5 different levels to it, and they're each like a different kind of like almost like an escape room or like a haunted house kind of thing. Like, they're scary, like dangerous obstacles that they have to overcome.
If I'm being honest, I don't think that made that to the anime.
Ooh,
that sounds awesome though.
When I was reading over like the details of it, it looks pretty hardcore. Like, the first one is called Shooting Stardust, and it's basically a laser tag kind of thing. So that's not too crazy, but I guess Kaiba kind of cheats at it. Like, he gives the good guy team like fake. I mean, obviously it's all fake because it's laser tag, but like, their guns don't actually fire lasers, whereas the bad guys team, they do, and they like he hired these like professional people to come in and like try to school these kids at laser tag, and of course the good guys prevail somehow. Like, they come up with better tactics and they end up beating the bad guys. But then they get to Death T2, which is the electric chair ride, or in the Japanese version, electric chair ride of death, where it's a roller coaster.
I mean,
if you scream, you get electrocuted with 1,000,000 volts. So,
Jesus,
I know. I was like, that's pretty hardcore. And I was like,
I think just Kaiba had a fetish for that. That's ridiculous.
It is a lot, very like dungeon, like torture kind of stuff. But it's theme park themed, which is fun.
Are we sure Kaiba isn't just going to be in the next Saw movie? Because it just sounds like something Jigsaw would have made up.
Yeah, definitely. You're totally right. Death T3, the next one, is like almost like Tetris. Like, they're in this room and there's just big blocks that start falling from the ceiling, and like they're huge and very heavy, and like they have to figure out the patterns of when they drop so they can keep climbing up them to get through a hole in the ceiling. And like, I guess someone in their party eventually, like, their coat gets stuck in between 2 of them, and they try to go back to save him, but by then a block like stops covers the top of it so they can't go back down. So it seems pretty scary, like pretty intense.
That's murder. That's murder, isn't it?
I think so.
Do we know?
It sounds like
so.
Murder, but I would assume because it's an anime, like, he comes back at some point. But I think that could make kind of a fun, like game, or like a themed playground sort of deal, where you have to like, it's not going to crush you, of course. Like, it has to sense if it actually lands on someone. But
we can't call it death. We can't call it Death T. Anything.
It's called Fun T. Well,
or just Hug T.
Hug T.
Hug T1.
I guess in one version it was called Doom T. Like, in one of the video games, they don't want it to be as scary, so it could be called Doom T. And it's just like, oh, it's an attraction at a theme park that's kind of Doom flavored, and like.
And then when you need to rehydrate, that marketing's already there. You can get some Doom Tea.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All the puns already.
Mm-hmm. And then what's the name of the person's job who creates that tea or farms it? Is there a Taya?
I think. Taya Gardner. Yeah, they all dress up like her because her name's spelled like T.
Yeah, her name is pretty much T Gardner, but they pronounce it Taya. Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
I wonder if they're playing that. Yeah, I mean, a lot of brunettes in the area could cosplay as her and get some jobs, make that money.
Heck
They
yeah.
can get tea tips. Was there any more for the Death Tea?
Yeah, we've got two
sectors of all, or?
more sectors of Death Tea. Death Tea 4 is a giant capsule monster chess arena. So it's basically, this is another game that they play in the series.
That'd be pretty sweet.
And it looks really cool.
That was like a filler season. Sorry, but
yeah, you're right. But it looks
go
cool.
ahead.
The gameplay looks really fun on that. But essentially, what they have in this is just like a big arena, and it's like the two people who are battling each other, like physically playing the game, are up on a catwalk, and then down below, like 30 feet below them, is this huge arena where the moves that they're making, like it's sort of chess related. It'd be like there's a huge chessboard down below
almost
you.
like Wizard's Chest from
Like
Harry Potter.
Exactly, another tie-in with Harry Potter.
Both Yu-Gi-Oh monsters.
Yeah, or almost like Final Fantasy Tactics or Tactics Ogre, if anyone's played those games. It's
or
kind
Fire
of similar.
Emblem.
Oh yeah, or
referencing
Fire
other
Emblem.
cool tactics games.
Sure, or there's tons of those strategic battle games. But this part of Death Tea is basically just a big arena to play a game in, and like that's innocuous, that's fun. That could be you'd expect that to be at a Yu-Gi-Oh theme park, like big, huge holographic interpretations of the moves you're actually making, or we could make this be for the cards that you're playing as well. Like, and it's kind of cool. The way that it's designed almost works like a theme park by itself, because the players are up on a catwalk, and then down below them, it looks like they get an overhead view of these huge monsters. But that could just be a screen. It could be really like realistic high-end graphics of a digital representation.
Yeah, I actually have to bring it back to that. We'll get back to Death Tea, but I had just had an idea.
Sure.
Just, because we all know amusement parks are going to have like some things that have live shows. So there's going to be like some random, like, I don't know what to call it, maybe like Duke Devlin's like dueling theater or something like that. It's a character from the show that everyone knows. But he invents Dungeon Dice monsters. But anyway, at this theater, you could go watch like people who dress like the characters reenact duels. Obviously, they're going to rotate and keep doing different things. But like they can get like little holograms, like you suggested. Kids who still love Yu-Gi-Oh could go into this room like, oh my god, like, hey, this is when Yu-Gi beat him with the Slug for the Sky Dragon. But just pretty much any reenactment of duels can be played here, and just all the actors you get to play the characters here could just be completely over the top, and like maybe the guy playing Yugi or whatever protagonist they get from whatever season could just like pick a kid out of the audience to like do the final finishing move to beat Kaiba.
Oh,
and
man.
It's similar to like what they do with the Star Wars portion of Hollywood Studios, and what they're going to do with Star Wars Land, like with Vader egging people on, or the Jedi training simulator, stuff like that.
That sounds awesome.
I think that'd be kind of fun.
Oh, totally. And I feel like because this series is so based on games, like a competitive game going against each other, so acting those out would be really cool. Having like an arena where people can just go watch these battles would be neat. And then also, like you kind of touched on, like people who love the cards, it'd be cool if you could maybe have like a room where you can place your card on a scanner, and it just displays a huge hologram of it, like life-size hologram of it around you, and you can kind of like just see what it would be like if you actually had that monster under your control.
I have Disneyland in the back of my mind, and right in the center, instead of like the main castle, we'd have Pegasus's castle, since he pretty much brought duel monsters over here.
Yeah,
it would be almost like his duelist kingdom. There'd be like silly videos about like, oh hey, like Pegasus is this and that. He would like maybe intro stuff, and then
just for a second while we're here, can we talk about Maximilian Pegasus? Like, who is that character?
He is also a millionaire, of course, and an architect, kind of an architect. He's bored. He's got money. Of course, he's going to be an architect. Pegasus goes on this expedition to Egypt to find some way to revive or like at least heal his dead wife or his dead girlfriend. I haven't watched the show in a long time.
Yeah.
But he finds duel monsters and the Millennium Eye, and the Millennium Eye allows him to cheat and like see stuff, and just gives him some power. And he pretty much gets his fortune up higher and higher, since he brought duel monsters to Japan or wherever they are, or I guess Domino City, I guess it's called in their show.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to call it. I don't know where it's at.
The country.
I could totally. Yeah. In generic country number 5, Pegasus made millions of dollars. But besides that, he's the main villain of season 1, and he kind of becomes like a sort of helping hand in later seasons and shows up. He takes Yugi's grandpa's soul, and Yugi and his friends all have to get high in the tournament so they help get his soul back, and it's a pretty wacky show. Now
Yeah.
I say it out loud. But
It is, but they've structured it so that there's like a lot of different bad guys and a lot of stakes, and that's one thing that's really impressive about the series is like they're constantly raising the stakes like every single episode. You know what I mean? And it doesn't get old really. It's really, there's a lot of tension and a lot of drama and a lot of like fear that happens in this. A lot of reason why they need to win every single time because there's a lot riding on every game. I know it's just a game, like it doesn't really matter, but that's never something that crosses their mind. That's not at all in the show. It's like games are life. Like this is a life or death situation almost every time. Like somebody is really going to get messed up if we don't win this game. So it's kind of cool. It's like it's way more exciting than like sports or something where it's like, oh, they lost. Like they don't get to go to the Super Bowl. Like, oh boy, they're still gonna. You know what I mean? Like everyone's still going to like be okay. But in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like very high stakes all the time, and it's kind of cool. But so
just imagine if the Super Bowl was like that though. If the team lost, all those guys lose their souls until the next season.
That'd be crazy.
Russell Wilson, no!
I would watch sports if they had high stakes like that. That'd be awesome.
I would love it because I'm a Patriots fan. I can just see Tom Brady going and Bill Belichick going, "We banish you to the center." Everyone sees them as the bad guys anyway, so like, they might as well just own it.
Yeah, enjoy it. In my research of Maximilian Pegasus, because I didn't watch the show, I didn't know who he was. I knew he was a cool guy with long hair and like a golden eye thing, but
the same guy who voiced James from Pokemon also voices him.
Huh. He's a really cool character, and he's got, you know, the eye that lets him cheat, though. Is it called the Millennium Eye?
The Millennium Eye. There's 7 Millennium items. If you get all 7, I don't know. You have ultimate power. I know at the end of the show. Spoiler alerts. The show's been out forever. The manga's been out for a long time too. But after Yugi and the Pharaoh get all 7 items, they have to do like a final duel to put the Pharaoh's soul at rest. And I mean, if someone else who didn't have a righteous spirit like Yugi and all of them didn't do that, they could have like taken over the world or destroyed everything. So it's a good thing they got a hold of him.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
But
and that what you just brought up was a really cool point. Actually, it's neat how Pegasus, like Maximilian Pegasus, seems like such a huge like bad guy in the original series, but he actually kind of helped to create so many of the games that they're playing. So it's almost like he's sort of a Steve Jobs type character, where he created the platform in general, but then they have to go and fight against him, like this huge like creator person, inventor. He has a company called Industrial Illusions, and I thought it'd be kind of cool if like we put like little logos on all of the things that are built within the park that have a little, you know, TM Industrial Illusions.
I'm loving that. I'm loving that.
And then, you know, maybe
idea.
If we want to have the park guest take the role of someone who's just playing these games, you know what I mean, and like maybe starts out like just a general like for fun tournament in a hobby store, like in a game shop, because I do think we should have a lot of game shops in this park, by the way. But so maybe it starts out like a low tier tournament. Yeah, exactly. So it starts out a low regular tournament, and then if you win those tournaments, you get to go into one of the big arenas and battle there. And then it just keeps escalating up throughout the course of the day. Wouldn't that be cool? And eventually you get to battle against Maximilian, and if you beat him, then like who's higher than that?
Probably like Yugi or Kaiba, or if it's a crappy day, you get like Rex and Weevil, because they were the champions before Yugi and Kaiba got on the scene. And they're dinosaur themed and bug themed. If you couldn't tell by their names.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like,
yeah, there's another guy who's kind of famous in the Battle City arc, Merrick Ishtar. He was like the guardian of the Pharaoh's tomb or whatever, and he ends up going evil and getting all the god cards and trying to kill the Pharaoh. In the season after Pegasus.
Dude, that's what
you could maybe duel him.
That's what I'm hoping to get to, is the Egyptian god stuff. Like that whole theme is always like part of the like dark imagery that they call upon. And, you know, Yugi, like the spirit for like Dark Yugi is this ancient pharaoh thing, and all of the you know, the millennium items and stuff. It'd be cool if there's, you know, eventually, you know, you get the glory of like winning this tournament, but then there are these kind of dark secrets of like, where do these games actually come from? And you can kind of uncover this mystery, and you have to go, maybe there's like a pyramid like underground or something, and you go and you kind of can battle against these like manifestations of Egyptian gods, and like things get really, really crazy if you're a really good player. It's like invitation only. You get to go to the back room, you know, where it's like this crazy Egyptian themed, like really next level stuff. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, they hire you to be the next champ.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool?
Did you hear that come out? Like, oh, hey, you beat everybody. You can actually work here now. You can just play Yu-Gi-Oh for a living.
It's really exciting to kind of to think about all the competition that would be going on here, and like how you can structure bracketed tournaments every single day just among park guests, and then the top however many finishers get to go in battle against the kind of costumed characters who use those characters' actual decks and and stuff like that. And then you can even transcend those guys.
The reason I brought that up, and right, that'd be awesome. But the reason like I brought that whole like dueling concept up and just like having like the shows and like now this tournament that we're talking about, for like the 10th or 15th anniversary, they released this movie called Bonds Beyond Time. So at one of the tournaments, Dan Green, the original voice of the Pharaoh, and the guy who ends up playing Yusei Fudo from 5Ds, they have them duel against each other, like the voice actors, and they built decks with all their cards in them, and they definitely set it up so Yugi would win. But like I was on the edge, I'm like, oh my god, like who's gonna win this? This is so exciting.
Wait a minute, so it's the good guys, like the heroes of two different seasons battling each other?
It was the voice actors.
Okay, so it was like an event where it was just the voice actors physically playing the game in like real life.
Yes.
That sounds awesome. Wow, I love that. That's really cool, like branding. That's a really cool idea for an event. Oh man.
Well, yeah, they kept like they had cameras just on the cards, and they just kept like, oh, no, I do this move, and like they were doing them in character, and it was like, oh my god, like imagine if like they actually got them like in suits, or like they had people cosplayed as them, just like, acting it out for them. Like how baller would that be?
Yeah, seriously, this park sounds so cool. It's kind of evolving to be more of just a tournament home, you know what I mean? Like we would definitely have all of the like global Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments happening here, which this card game is really big, by the way. If you go to any, hobby shop, game shop, they might have a little bit more Magic, but Yu-Gi-Oh, they almost always have more Yu-Gi-Oh stuff than Pokemon. Like I think that it is in the Guinness Book of World Records, technically, as of a few years ago, it was the top selling card game in the world. So it's got a lot of fans. I think this park would attract a lot of people.
I had weaned myself off of the cards, and then my little brothers, I mean, they got about the same age that I did when Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh were like getting popular and cool. So I was like, all right, let's try this out again. And I got into the synchro summoning stuff, and Zexal was kind of cool. I was like, oh my god. And my friend Benny was also not a good factor in this. He kept finding the cards too. Dude, all my friends are playing. I gotta play now too.
That's so fun to be in on something with your friends like that, where it's like, I don't know, you just encourage each other so much to like build a deck so you can compete. I just love the competitive nature of games like that. I think it's a really fun social experience, and I think building a whole park with that atmosphere would be so cool. There's no backing down. The heart of the cards is where magic is found. We've played this game before, but never quite this way. It's like an all-out war with monsters that obey. Yu-Gi-Oh! He's the king of games. Yu-Gi-Oh! King of games!
The next season is called Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. The main protagonist is this guy, Jaden Yuki. Kaiba sets up a duel academy since that's all they can do with his money is waste it and do silly things like this. But hey, dueling's a thing you can do in this world. So more power to him. But like it's essentially like Hogwarts, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Like you play card games and stuff, but there could be like a ride or like some simulation thing revolving around that. I wasn't familiar with that season. We could also have like a duel. We could have a duel runner ride where you're riding like the little bikes that they were riding for the card games on motorcycles.
Yeah, I think that would be
you have like dragons. You can have dragons flying by or something of that sort. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool dragons and like really cool monsters that you could easily theme a roller coaster around. And I think people who are fans of Yu-Gi-Oh are okay if it's like, here's a roller coaster that just looks like Blue Eyes White Dragon or whatever kind of cool like monsters there are in this world. We can have themed attractions that are based on those. And I feel like the target age for this is maybe a little bit older than like some theme parks which have like really little kid areas, but there are some like cute monsters, like cute cuddly things in this world as well. So
like Karibo.
Right, exactly. You could have a kids area that's kind of like a little happy like little kids chibi area. It'd be kind of cool too, like having it for all ages, where there's like regular like family roller coasters, and then there's also like really high thrills and like really scary parts you can go to if you meet the height requirements or whatever, the age requirements. Because I think another cool part of the show is like the high stakes part. So there's like the penalty games, which is like something that Yugi makes people go through if they lose. Like that's one of the things he can kind of bring to the table as a bargaining chip, is like if you lose, you have to do a penalty game. And a lot of these are like pretty traumatic experiences. They don't actually hurt you because he's a good guy, but it could be a VR thing where you have to like put this VR headset on and like, just fall off of a really tall building or like watch like a monster like eat you or whatever.